1999 was a year to reminisce, to recall the World Cup as it was, as it had been in those early years, when there was a naivety, a blithe approach to the tournament. Now it returned to England in its grandiose form, the ultimate prize. But the hosts were still no nearer to winning it.
We didn't give ourselves an opportunity because I don't believe we picked our best squad for one reason or another. And then when we came to play, we certainly didn't perform. We got what we deserved.
Many a World Cup has been lost before it's begun. A lack of preparation can affect even the strongest sides. And so it was for the favourites Australia. Their late arrival was almost to cost them.
I think we perhaps put too much emphasis on winning the World Cup and we forgot the process needed to get there. Plus it was a long trek for us. We'd just come off a tour to the West Indies, so we've been straight from the West Indies to England. We didn't play with the freedom we probably required in the first couple of games because we had put too much pressure on ourselves.
Defeats against Pakistan and New Zealand left them needing to win every game to avoid elimination. As a group, they decided to allow greater freedom on and off the pitch, a decision which was quickly vindicated.
The spirit and camaraderie of that group just started to grow the more time we spent together. People had a lot of pride in their own performance and they started to play well.
Come the Super Sixes, that change in mindset was evident. Mark Waugh was in fine touch and the whole team was showing an understanding of the captain's doctrine.
When I took the team over, my philosophy was to make every ball a priority, to not waste any balls. I think previous to that there was a period where you used to go in and play yourself even in one-day cricket. I wanted us from ball one to be sharp and to not hesitate and to back ourselves straight away, so every ball mattered, and I think that was probably the change that maybe I brought to the one-day team.
Their final Super Six game was win or bust, with a strong South African side lying in wait.
You know, that was probably the year that if we had to pick a side, out of all the years I've played, that would be the side I would say had the best chance.
To add to Australia's anxiety, Herschelle Gibbs was at his fluent best. The South Africans making 271 from their 50 overs. For Steve Waugh, that meant the margin for error was tiny. The consequences, somewhat bigger.
I had meetings with the chairman of selectors before that and pretty much basically told me that not the results were going to reflect on my captaincy, and pretty much if it wasn't going to go our way then maybe I wasn't going to be captain of the one days for too long. So and I think probably if I didn't score runs there, my selection might have been in jeopardy going forward. So at 3 for 50 chasing I think 250 odd, or it might have been more than that, on a pretty up and down wicket against a really good bowling attack. Everything was on the line as I walked out. I was nervous. Copped a little bit from Herschelle Gibbs on the way out because we'd probably been giving him a bit. It was my turn. I mean, you got a couple on the chin, and that was intense pressure. But I think that's what I really needed at that stage in my career to bring the best out of me.
Steve Waugh has made up his mind. That's four. That's the first time they've attacked Donald. He gave himself some room. He jumped away to the leg side and he hammered that. That's where he likes to hit him, Stephen Waugh, and this is a good little partnership.
And so arrived the moment which may just have altered cricket's history, and a conversation debated more than almost any other.
Pop, and the man who did so well with the bat has taken his eye off the ball, and the ball has just dribbled out of his fingers.
The story's grown that Steve Waugh said to Herschelle, you've dropped the World Cup, but I mean, when I've spoken to him, it was more along the lines of you've just cost yourself the game.
Oh, look, you don't want to change that. I mean, it was close to what was said. It mightn't have been exactly what was said, but people like that line, so let's leave it as it is.
Waugh's 100 would settle the game, and the two sides would meet again for a place in the final. Drama, it seemed, was theirs and theirs alone. Pakistan breezing past New Zealand in their semi-final with an unbeaten 100 from Saeed Anwar.
Well, when he's in full flow, Saeed Anwar is one of the most spectacular sights in world cricket.
That's a glorious stroke.
I think playing against any team is very crucial, and especially playing a World Cup and playing against any team, and especially the semi-final. And the way Saeed Anwar played, he really made the game one-sided.
The country which produced men of prose such as Chaucer, Dickens and Shakespeare seemed somehow fitting for a semi-final which had an absorbing plotline, identifiable heroes and villains, and a twist you just never saw coming.
I think South Africans and Australia are pretty similar. They're just a little bit more arrogant than us. We're just a bit more laid back.
The ebbs and flows of it was just unbelievable. You know, one team was in charge, and then the other team, another one came back, and then it was, and we basically had it almost settled at the end.
Chaotic, intense pressure, people, nerves.
Wonderful to be part of. Probably one of the great one-day internationals of our.
Then you're going to say, look, whatever you think, you're the bowler, just back yourself to bowl whatever you reckon's the best.
I remember running off, and even Steve was saying, "What are we through? Are we through? Are we through?" We said, "Yeah, we're through. We're through."
Lost it, came back, had the game, and then finally tied it. So it was probably one of the most emotional games of cricket that I've been involved in, especially with it being a semi-final of a World Cup.
The serene setting of Lords had a more genteel feel to it by comparison. The cricket in that final, likewise.
The final of a World Cup at Lords doesn't get any bigger than that, and you don't want any grey hairs. Now you want it done as quick as possible.
Oh, got him! What a moment! That is a brilliant catch.
I remember standing there and looking across, and then Mark diving and taking this catch, and that sort of set the tone for the rest of the game.
Got him! Played on.
There was a rain before a day, and the wicket was a little bit moisture. I don't know why we took a bat first.
Is it out? What a magnificent catch that!
If the result looked a formality, it was in no small part to the all-round skills of the Australians.
Caught it, brilliant.
For 18 months we'd planned and prepared for this perfect game, and we pretty much pulled it off at the right time.
Needing just 133, this was Australia at their ruthless best.
That's gone. Lovely hit. What a way to bring up your 50.
Australia are the World Cup champions of 1999.
To go through that journey where you struggled, then to come up and win it, and we all turned our own form